Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. Today's video is going to be another weekly watches. Got through quite a few this week. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 this week, so yeah, quite a few this week. Mostly good ones, to be honest. One that I really didn't get on with, and that won't be staying in my collection, that will be discussed shortly. And the last one that I've watched, didn't dislike it, but I wouldn't say I was disappointed either, because I didn't know what to expect. I just thought it was a bit too long, like unnecessarily long, and it bored me in parts, although it was interesting, but I will get onto that. Well, that'll be the last one. But first up, I decided to watch The Birdcage. I was in the mood for like a comedy. It's got great cast, got Robin Williams, Gene Hackman, Nathan Lane, Diane Wiest, Christine Baranski's in this as well. Yeah, basically about Robin Williams owns a gay cabaret club, basically, in like Miami somewhere. I don't know where exactly, can't remember exactly where. He's in like a sort of relationship with Nathan Lane's character, and their son basically comes home and says he's getting married, and he's marrying Gene Hackman and Diane Wiest's daughter, and he's a very conservative right-wing politician, and they haven't been told that his father's own a drag club and are gay. So it's very funny. It's one of those films. It's just very funny what happens throughout. And I loved the ending. Gene Hackman dressing up in drag. Yeah, really funny film. I can definitely see myself going back and watching this one again. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And you can't beat Gene Hackman and Robin Williams. They were excellent, weren't they? So yeah, that's The Birdcage. Another great one that I watched last Monday, I want to say, in the afternoon. I chucked this on. Stuart chose this a few weeks ago now. Finally got around to watching it, and as I suspected, I did love it. And it is, of course, the excellent Hello, Dolly, which might even be my favourite. Why has it gone out of my head? Barbra Streisand film. Yeah, I don't know why that went out of my head then. Directed by Gene Kelly as well, which is always good. Basically, Barbra Streisand plays Dolly. She's a matchmaker in New York. She's like helps with the high society type people in the late 1800s. She goes to Yonkers to help Walter Matthau's character's niece, like matchmake them, and also him as well, but she falls in love with him throughout the film. You've got Michael Crawford in this, who plays one of the shop assistants at Walter Matthau's character's like wholesale store, I suppose it is. And it's just a really upbeat, uplifting, happy film with some great musical numbers in here that really put you in a good mood. Particularly my one favourite is Put On Your Sunday Clothes, which I thought was great. Got a small appearance from Louis Armstrong in this towards the end, in the Hello, Dolly musical number. And yeah, just a really, if you like musicals, definitely give this one a go. It's just a really, in the vein of like your Mary Poppins, that sort of musical of that time, family friendly and just really uplifting film. Hello, Dolly, another great watch. Then next up, I put on The Florida Project, which is one of Sean Baker's last films. It was his. I would say this is probably his breakthrough film when he started making a name for himself, I would say. The only known person in this is Willem Dafoe, who plays the motel manager, and it's all set around this motel named the Magic Castle, set in Florida, like just outside like Disneyland. And it's about these characters' lives. They basically have to live in this motel. They go from motel to motel throughout different months, because obviously they can only stay for a certain amount of time and then they come back. And it's kind of mainly about their lives. Our lead character's daughter and her friendship with her friends who also live throughout these motels in the area. And yeah, if you like Red Rocket and Nora, very similar sort of thing, like a snapshot of America, I suppose, in specific lives in America, people living in America, like real sort of stuff. And yeah, really enjoyed it. Like the characters, like the backdrops, very colourful film. Willem Dafoe is excellent in it. And yeah, not my. I still, of the 3 Sean Baker films I've seen, I'd still rank it third, just because obviously I loved Nora, was my favourite film of last year, and I really enjoyed Red Rocket as well. But this is up there with Red Rocket, I would say. Yeah, that's the Florida Project. Next up, I watched out my Western set. I watched The Wild Bunch. Now, I will say, when I put this on, it was late Tuesday afternoon, and I think everything from the previous days had just been catching up with me. The meet up, the live stream the night before, which went on late. It all kind of caught up with me, so I was in and out of sleep throughout the film, so I can't fairly judge the film. It's one I'm definitely going to need to rewatch. What I saw of it, I really enjoyed, but I was in and out quite a bit, so I can't really give full thoughts on the film, because it wouldn't be fair, because I didn't really watch it all the way through, I wouldn't say, because I was off and on. But yeah, it was a good film from what I saw. Can't really talk much more about it because I haven't really, like, didn't watch or take in enough of it, should I say. But it's one that I'm definitely going to give a watch again. And another really good Western, that's The Wild Bunch. Next up, I'm not going to talk about this too much because this was the watch pile choice of last week. And it's, of course, The Rover, starring Guy Pearce and Robert Pattinson. This is pretty good. Of all of the films this week, I'd still put it towards the bottom, but I've seen some really good films this week, which is the only reason why. This was really good still. David Michaud directs this, who also did Animal Kingdom. He did War Machine on Netflix and The King on Netflix as well. It's basically set 10 years after like a Western economic collapse in Australia, and it follows the drifter, played by Guy Pearce's character, whose car is stolen by this gang. Part of the gang is Robert Pattinson's character, who's basically been left for dead by them. He comes across Guy Pearce's character, who has now taken the gang's truck after they took his car. And he wants to know why he's got their van. But because he's left him for dead, he wants vengeance, as does he, because they've taken his car, and there's something about this car that he can't let go of, which you do find out at the end. And yeah, it's a really good film, like a good atmosphere to it, good acting to it. Bit slow in places, I will say, and it's bleak, that's the best word to use it. Not as bleak as The Road, I wouldn't say, but it's still quite a bleak film. But overall I enjoyed it. Yep, it will be staying in the collection. That is The Rover. Next up, now, if you're in the WhatsApp group, then you'll probably already know my thoughts on this. But it's Kill List. It was shit. Next one, we're watching The Fifth Estate after that. I had to have a palate cleanser after that one. And I thought True Story, another one that was chosen in the watch poll last week, I believe, based on the true story of Julian Assange, who was like basically the creator, co-founder of WikiLeaks back in 2007, which was a website that basically leaked classified documents and intel to the public, and caused huge backlash throughout like different governments. And it's kind of about that, the fact that he teams up with a computer hacker played by Daniel Bruhl, and like the papers as well. He's got some sort of link with, because David Thewlis plays like an editor at a big paper. I think it's like the Times in London. I don't know. And you got Peter Capaldi who is like underneath David Thewlis's character at the paper. Laura Linney, who plays like a big American government person, as does Anthony Mackie and Stanley Tucci. And it's all about this conspiracy and trying to take him down, find out who he is, why he's doing it, try and stop him from leaking these secrets over the years. And it was interesting. Again, I didn't love this film. Did drag for me a bit, but it was interesting, and I'd give it a watch again. So yeah, that's The Fifth Estate. Next up, I put this on because when I bought this in CS, I didn't really notice, but the case was in awful condition, and then I checked the disc as well, and the disc was filthy. I'd managed to clean it a bit. It still had some scratches on. So I thought I'd test it out in case I have to take it back to CEX and get my money back. But it was okay. It did scratch for it did stop and skip for about 5 minutes towards the end, which didn't bother me too much. So it's okay. I will keep it in the collection. It is Peter Jackson's The Frighteners, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Thought this was really good. Kind of gave me sort of Tim Burton type vibes, but also because I've not really seen outside the Lord of the Rings and the big films Peter Jackson's done. I've not really seen any of his films. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. Really good, sci-fi horror comedy, I would say, or more fantasy horror comedy, I suppose. About this, ghost hunter who's basically scamming the residents with his ghost friends that he can see since he had a near-death experience, I believe. But then this vengeful sort of spirit is actually killing people in real life, and he's got to try and, with his ghost friends, try and stop him. And yeah, really good, funny. Michael J. Fox was great in this, I thought. Music by Danny Elfman, executive produced by Robert Zemeckis as well. And yeah, it's just a really quirky fantasy horror comedy about ghosts that, if you've not seen it, highly recommend checking this out. Really enjoyed this one. That is The Frighteners. Next up, I chose to watch Jarhead, a Sam Mendes film with Jake Gyllenhaal, Peter Sarsgaard, brother-in-laws in real life, Lucas Black and Jamie Foxx. Music by Thomas Newman, who, if you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know he's my favourite composer. And yeah, this is a war film set during the Gulf War, the first Gulf War, back in the late 80s. Well, no, I think it was early 90s actually, when the film starts in the late 80s at boot camp, following Jake Gyllenhaal's character, who's a jarhead. I can't remember why they call them jarheads now. Oh, this is the self-imposed moniker of the Marines, it says on the back. And they're part of a sniper troop led by Jamie Foxx. He's their captain, and they're finally deployed into the Middle East, into the Gulf War. And it's about this whatever you call them, was it a group? I don't know the terms for military. Their story about how they get through the Gulf War, their times during the Gulf War, and then sort of when they come home towards the end. And yeah, really enjoyed this. Really good story, some great acting. I thought it was really well paced as well. I didn't get bored at any point throughout the film, was always engaged. And yeah, really enjoyed this as far as more modern war film, should I say. So yeah, that is Jarhead. Next up, I watched Wolf with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer. Basically, the film opens, Jack Nicholson's driving home through, I think it's Vermont, and he stops his car because it hits a wolf, which in turn bites him, and then he soon discovers that he is turning into a werewolf. He meets Michelle Pfeiffer's character, who he takes an interest in. She starts to take an interest in him as well. He's like the head of he's like a head senior honcho at this big publishing company, which is ran by Christopher Plummer's character, who is Michelle Pfeiffer's character's father. And you've got James Spader, who kind of plays his protege, Jack Nicholson's character's protege. And yeah, music by Ennio Morricone. You also got like people like Eileen Atkins pops up in this, David Hyde Pierce, Prunella Scales, which I thought was very random. Richard Jenkins plays a cop. Yeah, really weird cast, I would say, for a film like this. But yeah, really liked it. Thought it was a really good film. As far as werewolf films go, yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this one, and will definitely be going back to it again. So yeah, that is Wolf. Then next up, I watched the Coen brothers' very first film, which was Blood Simple, starring is it Joel Coen's wife, Frances McDormand? You got Emma McWalsh, who plays like this sleazy private detective, who's basically hired by Frances McDormand's husband, played by Dan Hedaya, who runs a bar, to basically kill his wife because she's been unfaithful, and her other half, who also works at the bar, played by John Getz. But things don't go to plan, and it goes out of hand, and the story kind of kicks off from there, I shall say. I won't give any more away. But as far as a feature film debut, I thought they did absolutely excellent. I thought the story was great. The acting in this was great. If you've not seen this, I definitely urge you to check this out, because for a first film, like I said, it was brilliant. And you can get this fairly cheap. I got this for about £7 in HMV last weekend. But yeah, really, really surprised with this one. Really like this one as well. That is Blood Simple. Then next up, I stuck on The Business. Obviously, I recently watched The Football Factory and Marching Powder, so I thought I'd follow that up with The Business. Again, with Danny Dyer. Something happens in London, so he basically flees to, I think it's Malaga, isn't it? To deliver a package to Tamer Hassan's character, Charlie, who's like an ex-con, like sort of playboy. He takes him under his wing, shows him the ways of the area, how to like make it. But you've also got Jeff Bell's character, who's an absolute psychopath in this, who's partners with Charlie. And it's sort of about crime, drugs, guns, you know, you sort of the typical Nick Love sort of thing with Danny Dyer, and a lot of fun, great soundtrack, easy watch. Yeah, if you've not seen it and you like those sorts of films, I know it's not going to be for everyone. Like, I know Stuart's not into like Danny Dyer and like the Mockney, as he calls them, type films. But if you do like these sorts of films, then I would recommend giving it a watch, because it's entertaining and it passes an hour and a half. So yeah, that's The Business. And finally, but by no means least, as I said, didn't love it, but thought it was good. We have Munich, Steven Spielberg's Munich. On a tier list of Spielberg films, it's at the bottom for me, I won't lie. But I don't think Spielberg's done a bad film that I've seen anyway. It's still a really good film. I just thought the pacing was off. It was unnecessarily long. There were parts in it that I was watching and I felt it just wasn't necessary to progress the story through the film. The actors involved were great. You got Eric Bana, Daniel Craig, Kieran Hines, Jeffrey Rush, and I thought they all did a good job. Music by John Williams. As I said, the story itself I was interested in. But in terms of rewatchability, I don't think there's much rewatchability in this one, unfortunately. I will keep it because it's Spielberg, and I am likely to watch it again, especially if I were to do a ranking in the future of Spielberg's films. But I wouldn't say it disappointed me, because I kind of expected it to be what it was going in. But it didn't interest me and keep my attention as much as I hoped it would. So yeah, that is Munich. And that is all of the watches for the last week. Next week will be the last week where I'm watching a lot, because I am starting a new job next Monday the 12th. so won't have as much time to watch films, but I'll still try and get one in every day, hopefully. Excuse me. But yeah, that is it for this week. Let me know your thoughts on any of those ones down below, if you have seen them. Don't forget to like if you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, turn the notification bell on so you know when I have a new video uploaded to the channel, and comment down below anything and everything. As you know, I always take the time to get back to anyone that leaves me a comment, because I really do appreciate it. And that is it. So until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye.